Hello, everyone. Mackie here. It is 10:43 p.m. on the 24th night of September 2025. If you look at the number, we are officially 20 days until Worlds. By the time this video might come out tomorrow morning or maybe tonight, but mostly tomorrow morning, people in the East Coast are more accustomed to wake up than the West Coast people. But by the time this video will be out, we will be out of the 20s and into the teens. Oh, yeah, which means we're closer and closer to Worlds. And as we get closer to Worlds, we got some really important matches coming up. As the LCP has already finished, we got the LPL having to sort out which team will go to Worlds. LEC will have one, and even the LTA will crown a new champion, and the LCK as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, boys and girls, and all our League of Legends friends, our minions, our Teemos, our Dianas and Leonas, and all these other jazz to Championship Weekend, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the biggest weekends in League because so many questions are going to be answered, so many champions will be crowned, and so many tears will be shed. Good tears, bad tears, doesn't matter. So much things will happen. So I decided to use this episode as a way to answer all the questions that I wrote myself, by the way, and think, will this team do this? Will this team do that? What will happen in this matchup and all kind of stuff? So, without further ado, it is time for us to answer some of the biggest questions that's going to go on this weekend. So, here's question number one. Who will make through the regional hell between IG, Top Esports, and Weibo Gaming? And unfortunately, I have to step aside JDG, although, yes, JDG are a good team, and I believe that JDG could do something well. I mean, even if you beat Weibo, and let's say you beat Yahoo's Weibo, great, fantastic. Now you have to beat either IG or Top Esports in the fourth place matchup. And even then, you still have to beat T1 to even qualify for Worlds. So it's like you are going to go through hell and even worse hell and even worser hell in my opinion. So while JDG are a good team, and this is no disrespect to the JDG team, I just don't see this JDG team going even further, and we'll lose to Weibo. I might be wrong, but I can see what it is. And now we have to get through those three teams. I believe that IG and Top Esports is going to be a 5-game series. I by the way, the matchup will be taking place in about 6 hours from now, or less than 6 hours now by the time this video will be finished. So this video might be aged so poorly, but if I'm going to get a prediction right now, I believe IG and Top Esports will go to 5 games. As for who wins this matchup, it's going to be a little bit tricky one. IG has been pretty much decent, of course, throughout the entire season. You know, Shy not being a Shy, Rookie is doing well, Gala returning to his form in most cases. I think IG are looking like a solid team. Top Esports were from the first split, from like the first part of split 3, when we were dominated. Well, not saying dominated, but really being decent, to losing to BLG. And it's not just the great BLG team, although you can say Knight was the reason why BLG won. It's the fact that BLG had to change like junglers every 5 minutes. And Bin was not being the same. Elkanon has been up and down in most of the cases. The fact that Top Esports lose to that, it's just on par to the course of Top Esports being the doormats of League. If you know my video, you can do my shameless plug and just, upload that video. But for now, IG and Top Esports look like a pretty decent matchup. As for who wins this matchup, it's going to be a really tough one. It depends on how mid laner can go. Cream versus Rookie is a pretty wildly shaped matchup. And I think you can say that you can bet on the veteran. You can just say that Rookie can absolutely cream, pun intended, of course. But of course, you got to look at the champion pool and the champion diversity and what's going on. And of course, this is a long 5-game series. It's going to depend on how these drafts will work out, how they play. We got the Cassante and the Abessa in there, and you got the jungle with the Poppy, of course. And we'll get to all the champions later because we got a big special patch notes dropping in. But a lot of champion diversity that are coming to play here. Corki most important, of course, will be in play, and it's going to depend on how how the synergies will work, the team fight, and the Otacon, which is going to probably like the most important objective, of course, whether to win or lose games. So, based on all of that, I can see this series go either way. I can see this series either go 3-2 into IG or 3-2 to Top Esports, and I will say nothing wrong with that. I said that one of these teams is going to go to Worlds. And here's a little fun fact. I think IG has not made it to Worlds since, I think, 2019, if I were corrected. So it's been a long time since IG, the organization, have been in this position to haven't been to Worlds in a long time. Even with the Shy in the team, would it be incredible to see the Shy in his old colors back at Worlds in China, by the way, in his hometown in China? Well, you can say that I think the Shy, well, okay, let me just rephrase. It'll be incredible to see the Shy with a Chinese team, with the old IG squad, with with Chinese fans screaming in his home backyard. It would be huge for him. It will be huge for Rookie as well. You know, a veteran player who has been not been doing well. It'll be great for Gala, who once upon a time was the best player on RNG, was the most instrumental player for that incredible success on RNG. Now he's in a different team, a different look, and while RNG isn't burning in flames, he has been pretty good. Now, Top Esports also has some decent players. Jackie Love, Cream, 369. They all have some veterancy, of course. The jungle and support is going to be a pretty big difference. Mostly jungle, in my opinion. So, it's going to be a close one. It's going to be an absolute close one. I would be shocked if it would be a 3-0 for one of these teams. I'll be shocked. I will put my money on IG to win this series. I will put my money to IG to beat Top Esports 3-2, and they'll go to Worlds. And that leaves us, if Weibo Gaming will take care of business against JDG, Top and Weibo Gaming. Now, I believe that Top Esports will go to Worlds as well. I do not think it will be an absolute disappointment, as great as Xiaohu has been. And I just don't see this Weibo team doing well. I listen, Weibo Gaming could be a challenging team. They can challenge you. Kind of like the Rams, of course, in the football in NFL right now. They may not win a lot of games, but they will contest you. They will challenge you in most cases. And unfortunately, they will leave you heartbroken most of the times. But Weibo Gaming are going to be a challenging team for Top Esports. And I think Top Esports, with the veterancy and the quality they have in the squad, is going to overwhelm them. Now, if they get JDG, it's going to be a 3-0, easily a 3-0. But with Weibo Gaming, if they were to face Weibo Gaming for that fourth place matchup, it's going to be a tough one. And I think a 3-1 match. I think a 3-1 win for Top Esports will be suffice to say. Now, if Weibo managed to win, that would be an absolute upset in most cases, to see a Top Esports team that once upon a time won their first split, make it to first stand, and on par with their disappointing performance, live up to the expectations and did not even deliver. They did not deliver in first stand. They did not deliver in the split 3 finals. And if they do not make it, they will be. They will not be. They will not do well in LPL. I mean, imagine doing all of that to just miss out on Worlds to Rookie and Xiaohu, which is no disrespect to those two players. They are great legends, all kind of stuff, but it's just not looking great. It's just not looking great for Top Esports if they don't make it. So I got IG and Top Esports making it to Worlds. And Weibo, if they manage to sneak a big upset, and JDG is going to be like far off. Now, question number 2. Will 100 Thieves Final Heist deliver gold? In case everybody is living under the rock, and in case many people do not know, 100 Thieves is officially leaving League of Legends. I know. It's sad, even for me. And this entire run was an absolute middle finger to Riot Games, and probably middle finger to all the fans and Nate Shot and all the people who are doubted this 100 Thieves squad, especially when Dokla came in for Sniper. Like, when the whole Sniper Zocalo situation and when 100 Thieves were in a bad situation during summer, I was thinking, well, that's it. That is it for them. That is literally it for this team. Pack it up and go home. We will see them in Neverland, of course. And then they started going on a run, like literally going on a run. Took out, pretty much the expected team, and then took out Team Liquid. They took out Cloud9. Now, and granted, they lost to FlyQuest, but it was, let's be honest, I think David Shynock said it best. If we get this series again, I think 100 Thieves should win. I think 100 Thieves could win this series. And I believe him. I genuinely believe him. And they crush. And by the way, they crush Pain. Oh, Red Cannons. They crush Red Cannons. They crush um they crush Pain. No, actually, let me just retrace myself. They crush Pain and then they crush Red Cannons. After Red Cannons just absolutely embarrassed Shopify Rebellion in front of hundreds of people and their children. Yeah, just remember that Shopify should have been there. But then again, you have to beat the opponents who were in front of you. And now here they are. They should beat Vivo Kids. I mean, let's be honest. Listen, Vivo Kids, CL, Trimby, you're great people, and I like you. You're brilliant, but this is not your weekend, man. This is not your weekend. I think 100 Thieves should handle their business, and I think it'll be 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest, and it will take Vivo Kids actually playing out of their skin and playing the absolute game in their lives, and I think David mentioned about this in the rendezvous video that he made about 100 Thieves. It's the stage fright. Like, how will River and Quid, who, let's be honest, Quid has been unbelievable this entire split. I think he deserves, like, maybe MVP, in my opinion. I mean, you deserve for his all team, which is pretty good, but he deserves, like, something, an MVP or anything, despite the fact that I don't think the MVP voted is gone. But if I were to pick MVP, I will pick Quid for that one. And he's been unbelievable. Now, the question is for him and River. Can they handle the nerves on stage? There are only two players that has been on stage and actually won it. Well, actually, one of them actually won it. There's Dokla for NRG, for that Miracle NRG team that went on to make quarterfinals, of course. FBI, I believe he haven't won a North American title. By the way, the one title they did win was in 2020 during COVID. No, 2021 during COVID, by the way. And he hasn't seen a big stage win, of course, other than the LCS studios. Quid had not even seen it. River had not even seen it. Alia has not even been there. So it's going to be so if they can handle the nerves and if they can do well, I think they have a chance. I think they have a chance to win that series against Viva Kids. Which, by the way, I would like to have a little shout out to my boy Kengus, who kind of responded to me on Twitter after that Fate Seal on 5 with a great call and great casting. He's going to cast this game, ladies and gentlemen. 8 years of League of Legends hard work, and he's going to cast that 100 D's Viva Kin game. So well done, man. Well done. You earned my flowers. You've earned my flowers, man. But other than that, I think this will be a 3-0 100 D's. Now, the question is, can it be FlyQuest? And while FlyQuest have been together, they have been the veteran team. They're going to go in as the favorites by a country mile. And oh, by the way, Whipple's back, to the anger of so many women. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my god, it never gets old. Anyways, let me just compose myself. I think FlyQuest are going to be the big favorites on this game. And listen, let's be honest. 100 Ds are literally nothing to lose. They've already sealed worlds. They've probably going to make the finals. They're going to be out of League of Legends anyways. Their players are going to be sold left, right, and center. Also, River is going to do his military service as mandatory in Korea. So right now, you're thinking to yourself, well, 100 Ds are screwed, right? Well, no. And this run and this feeling and this good vibes they have, it may carry them to a victory. It may carry them to an upset victory over FlyQuest. Now, in order for this to happen, Quid has to play the absolute game of his life. And I think that will happen. Dokla has to not, be gapped by Whipple. And I think he can manage to do that. Ball lane has to be solid. FBI and Elia has to be absolutely solid. And River has to face Inspired. So, it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a really, really hard one. But, if 100 Thieves manage to win the LTA, for whatever we said about the LTA being absolutely garbage and all this kind of stuff with the formats and all that kind of stuff, it will be the only good thing that ever happened to the LTA this year. Next to the banners, and you can say the trophies and all that kind of stuff. But 100 Thieves in their last hurrah, winning the LTA championship will be the absolute FU, middle finger to the sky kind of victory, in which we're gonna listen. You're gonna kick us out. You're gonna kick us out. You're gonna kick us out of the league, out of everything we have done. Well, we're gonna take our trophy. We're gonna take our trophy. We're gonna take our good pride, and we're gonna walk out here to the sunset. Well, actually, you're gonna walk out to China, and then after that, you go to the sunset. But it'll be great. It'll be great too, and it'll be great because, by the way, I already read Final Heist because they're probably gonna steal the LTA trophy from Under 100 Thieves in the most unexpected way. So I want that to happen. I want that to happen. And I want a really, really close series. I want it to be a 5-game series, back and forth, all that jazz. See if 100 Thieves can actually make FlyQuest bleed a little bit. Because if FlyQuest were the 3-0 100 Thieves, it will set a precedent to feel like, yeah, FlyQuest are going to be the only good team from the North or the Americas, by the way, to even compete against the Asian teams. In fact, they're even close to even beat the Asian teams. And if that happens, then it's going to be a pretty disappointment. But if 100 Thieves can actually pull this off, man, oh man, that'll be huge. That'll be huge. And by the way, David is going to do a watch party, of course, during that whole thing. So, hey man, please give David his love. And if you see him, and listen, if there's 100 Thieves fans around there, please make sure that he's giving him a love, because right now this is probably the biggest weekend ever, next to, like, Florida, Georgia, which is going to be taking place in a couple of weeks, by the way. But it's a huge weekend for him. It's a huge weekend for 100 Thieves fandom. It's a huge weekend for the whole thing. Now, FlyQuest should beat FIFA Kin 3-0, and I'm going to go bold here. I'm going to say 100 Thieves to win LTA 3-2 against FlyQuest. There you go. Now, to the LEC. And the big question, of course, is twofold. Who will go to Worlds between Fnatic and K-Corp? And who will be G2? Now, the Fnatic and K-Corp, it's going to be an even-Steven game, let's be honest. Back then, way back when, you can say that Common Corp looks absolutely incredible, especially at first stand when they made finals, the first European team to ever done it since 2019. Well, all the years of making God's Cup, but finals is finals, I guess. And they were looking great. They were looking great, absolutely great. Kalis looking absolutely great. Vladdy looks absolutely great. Everything looked absolutely great. And it's like, oh god, K-Corp is going to dominate the league. And then slowly but surely, they have been falling off the cliff a little bit. Now, FlyQuest have been doing decently in summer, mostly due to Poby being there and not be, humanoid in most cases. Even then, I just don't feel like Fnatic are just the same dominant team. Even with humanoid, I think the same problems will still occur with Oscarin and Razok not doing fine, and the ball lane doing okay-ish. But it's just, I don't know, man. This is just a battle of two mid teams, and one of them has to go to Worlds. So I don't know, man. I believe that I think K-Corp will get together and win this matchup. And it would be a shocking upset if Fnatic with Poby as mid laner go to Worlds. Like, Jesus Christ, that is just the crime of the century. Imagine if you're humanoid and see your replacement go to Worlds instead of you. God damn, that just like... And here's the weirdest thing about Fnatic fans. If after everything you've gone through, all the bad vibes, bad locker room situation, if Fnatic make Worlds, all of this will be forgiven. Like, literally, all of this will be forgiven if Fnatic makes the Worlds. And that'll be crazy. But I think it's not going to happen. I think Common Corp will take care of business against Fnatic. It'll be a close series, 3-2. Yes, I'm doing a lot of 3-2s, but hey, I just want some good League of Legends this weekend. Just some really good League of Legends this weekend, along with Ryder Cup. Yeah, big weekend here. Anyways, I think it'll be a close series, of course. It'll be a really, really close series. And the winner of that matchup will go to face Koi. And I don't know about you, man, but there's going to be another one of those tight series. Another one of those 50-50 series, maybe 52-48 in favor of Common Corp in most cases, but it's going to be a really, really tight series as well. And that leads us to the winner of that matchup play on Sunday against G2, which, by the way, all the matches will be taking place at the in the Madrid arena, which I believe is going to be I think the stadium is going to take place is where they host the tennis tournament, by the way, the Muta Madrid Masters 1000, WTA 1000 tournament. So at the Caja Mágica, of course, if you know it. I think it's around that area, but see if I'm wrong, Akeem. But if you don't, you just go down the comments, I guess. But the question is, can they stop G2? G2 have only dropped 2 games all summer long, and those were from the bracket matches. Now, we've learned this lesson the last couple of splits, the last 2 splits of G2, having a great tournament, make it to the finals. Everybody expected G2 to win, and then fell flat on their face. Like, Carbon Corp and Koi won that matches. Give them credit, all due respect, but it just almost had that feeling of, yeah, they won it, or G2 kind of fell flat on their faces. And I think this is more of a latter rather than a former. This is no respect to those two teams, but G2 just not looking great in those finals. Not at all. And right now, the EW, after what happened to MSI, which was an absolute disaster by their standards, everybody was counting on G2. Everybody was thinking, okay, yeah, G2 is going to fall off completely. Maybe they might not make it to Worlds or something. But after EWC, they're looking absolutely like gangbusters. They're looking absolutely like gangbusters. Although you can say that, Dylan Falco has lost his magic, of course. That's the absolute, consequence of Fearless Draft being an everyday thing. But I think G2 are still good. I think Caps is fine. I think the only player that you could say that are consistent, two players, by the way, is Broken Blade and Hans Sama. And I think mostly Hans Sama has been consistent the entire split. If he can be consistent and he can be good, I think G2 can win World. I think G2 can win at LEC. And it doesn't matter who we face, maybe Fnatic, maybe Common Core, maybe Koi, I think it'll still be G2 at the end. So I hope it'll be a great finals. I hope G2 can just, finish the entire summer and being back on top to just give every single G2 fan a little hope going to Worlds. Because let's be honest, the last couple of years of G2, especially this year, has not been kind for them. It has not been kind. But if they were to win the LEC, it will give them a little bit of a narrative saying, ooh, G2 can be decent at Worlds. I mean, not saying win Worlds or anything, but just like be a quarterfinalist, semifinalist at Worlds, at least if the draw is in their favor. But they have to play good in this finals. They got to wait until Sunday and have to play absolutely good. Or else, if they fall off fat again, the narratives will change and will not be good narratives. And finally, the LCK is Gen G. And the most important question is, can he exact vengeance and win LCK? And if you know the movie Kill Bill, the two Kill Bill movies by Quentin Tarantino, let me just give you a short little spoiler, of course. It's the bride being absolutely paralyzed, of course. Girl with the yellow swimsuit, yellow suit, of course. Big sword, slashes everybody. Beautiful movies. Just a cliff notes there. And I think Genji is gonna go kill Bill on his entire lower bracket run. And yeah, they got absolutely pants. In fact, let's be honest. Give KT credit. They were pants in Genji from game one, and then game five, of course, they just pants in them. But that doesn't mean that Gen G are going to like let this loss like pass them by. No, they are coming for vengeance. They are coming for vengeance. I think Gen G are going to win LCK, and here's why. I think Gen G got a little bit too careless. Feel like, oh, they can easily beat KT. They pick KT, they can easily beat them, and unfortunately, they got sucker punch, literally sucker punch. And trust me, I'll tell you this: a good team getting sucker punch is the recipe for a good team to bounce back and hit them even harder. I think KT roster is not going to have the same luxury that they have last year or last week. By the way, I mean, yes, last week was an incredible round of upsets, but I think the status quo is going to happen. No, not T1. Unfortunately, they get kicked out by Gen G, but I think the status quo will remain. I believe that I think Gen G are going to be having their revenge in Eden 2. I think KT is going to look scared. I think BDD is going to have a hard time against Chovy again. I think the same thing that made KT incredible is not going to same thing with Genji. I think Genji will easily beat them 3-1. And then we'll have the rematch, of course, for the LCK finals, with which Hana Life Esports, as I mentioned, of course, in my last episode, ruined Genji's Golden Road. Now, of course, sadly, no Golden Road is in this, but this is an opportunity for both these teams to make a statement. For Genji is to claim back the LCK title that they've lost last year by this Hana Life Esports and establish themselves as probably the best team ever. For Hana Life Esports, it's probably reestablished their form from the first split and trying to vindicate themselves as one of the best LCK teams ever, despite the fact it was mostly a Genji T1 entire split for like mostly the entire year up to like Road to MSI. So this is a huge matchup. This is a huge weekend. And Genji are going to go scorch earth in this roller bracket. They're going to go absolutely scorch favored. Now the question is, it depends on how the draft looks and how the players play look. And by the way, this tournament will take place in arena. And oh, by the way, this is the same arena, by the way, where Genji lost the incredible win streak to T1. So a lot of a little history in that nugget. They have to overcome not only the fear, of course, of the unknown, but also the audience, which is not T1 favored, hurts, but it's true. And the fact they have to themselves, because everybody expected Genji to still win, and then KT Wilson might pull off something, and it'll be an absolute upset, and it'll be incredible, and it will be shocking to many to see. I think Genji will win this LCK title. I think it'll go full ham, 3-1, 3-0. That's the end of that. See you later, LCK champions and number one team in all of LCK and all of Worlds going into it. Now, I think that answers all our questions. If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and all that stuff for more League of Legends stuff. Congratulations, everybody. We have made it to 36 subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing to my channel. And we got 6 subscribers on the sports channel. So thank you all for doing that. We're close to 40 subscribers. If we could get it close before World's End or before the end of the year, that would be marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. And now we conclude this entire shortening but important part of the Chase in China series with some patch notes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to 2519. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the World's patch. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. It is absolutely here. Now, unfortunately, Akeem, this is going to be the one and only time to know about champions and all that kind of stuff, so it's not going to be pretty. But let's just highlight all the stuff. So, Corki bot lane getting nerfed, Pantheon jungle getting nerfed, Poppy jungle and support getting nerfed, and Sivir getting absolutely nerfed in the bot lane. But the buffs, it will depend on which player will play, at Worlds in most cases. You got Ahri, Bran, which, by the way, was a hot commodity for a minute, pun intended, until he fell off. Caitlyn, pretty much important. Diana, in terms of jungle carrying, okay, that would be good. Draven and Jinx could be useful. LeBlanc, in some cases. Lilia, in some cases. Mel, all right. And then Seraphine, no. Absolutely no. Oh, my goodness. My entire camera got freezed. Well, that just sucks. Okay, so you're probably going to look at my weird face for a couple of while. Anywho, yeah, I'm just going to talk it over. But you're going to be stuck with this weird face for probably the rest of the video, of course. So Jax, Lee Sin, and Syndra is going to be adjusted. And now we're going to read, of course, Ahri getting absolutely buffed. And then you got Bran, and you got Caitlyn, and all kind of stuff. So we're not going to go too deep, of course. It's going to be like nauseating for the next couple of nights. That will be for the League of Legends people to talk about. And, of course, Celestial and Redemption, of course. Redemption was a huge thing that happens in League play, of course. We've seen, Redemption healing up a lot of people and damage. Now, it's said that it pulled back the Redemption power to allow Locket and Val to compete, which means heal was 150 to 350. And Celestial option would be for slow bomb or short cooldowns and all kinds of stuff with crowd controls, which means it's no longer AoE, which is loser is dead. And an unsealed spellbook. Whew, this is a huge one, of course. It provides a support, of course, which you're changing all the books and all kinds of stuff. You can use Flash, you can use, Smite and all kinds of stuff. So it's a really big nerf. And, of course, the base recharge is now 4.5 seconds, and the minimum recharge is 2 seconds. Now, you got Doom bots, of course, which is going to be a thing with Vanguard Doom, which is, I think they saw it on the teaser. I saw it on the teaser for the LCP finals, of course. And then ARAM changes, of course. And look at all these beautiful skins. They are returning with the Sanctum items. This is the Echo bot. This is Echo, by the way. And then quality of life changes. And now we look at the beautiful skins. This is Arcanian Zillion. This is Arcanian Cartus. And this is Arcanian Aurora. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. And it could be available in a couple of days. So, yeah. Now, in terms of champions and in terms of this patch, by the way, which champions are going to get absolutely, the most love coming into Worlds? Well, Jinx is going to be playable, and then of course you got Lydia and you got Ari. I think Ari, Jinx, and maybe Sivir is going to be the three best bot laners. Of course, Draven in some cases, but I think Draven will be not great. Poppy is going to be fine. I think we see like, oh, Akeem, champion nerf, that means not playable. Okay, yes, listen. Champion nerf does not mean champion is bad. It means champion is decent, but not as holy god tier as many people think. It's going to be taken up a notch. And by the way, you notice the color scheme, of course, is that it's a false. If you look at the yellow means it's affecting pro play. That means the champion's getting nerfed in all pro play. So yeah, all of them are getting absolutely wrecked in pro play, which sucks. But I think Poppy will be fine. I think Pantheon is going to get hurt. Of course, Corky is going to get hurt a little bit in the bot lane, but he could be a mid laner. Of course, he could be an absolute decent mid laner. So watch out for that. But that'll be a long, long, long way to go until Worlds, and that will be like that will be up to like the experts and all kinds of stuff being looked at. So yeah, that should conclude all of this for the patch notes, and that should conclude this episode of Chasing China. It's a little bit of a short episode, 31 minutes, of course, at the time, but thank you all for watching this video, and I'm sorry that the camera freeze so bad that my face is going to be stuck on there. So yeah, it looks like I'm going to hurt somebody really bad. I don't hurt somebody, okay? I just, be angry when people get hurt sometimes. But yeah, anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Ciao, everyone.